Roger Goodell was in front of Congress yesterday via Zoom and talking about the workplace environment with the Washington football team. Daniel Snyder, by the way, I think was in the south of France or Malta on his yacht. And I joked yesterday, it's like, Daniel Snyder's not going to testify. And I said, yeah, he's probably in the south of France. So Roger Goodell's job, in a nutshell, was on display yesterday. No owners. He's there via Zoom, and he's facing questions about what's going on with the Washington football team. And what he did is he talked about now the improvements with the Washington football team front office. You know, they're not sharing videos of cheerleaders getting undressed or, you know, a sexual assault, on an airplane where, the owner has a secret settlement. None of those things. We're talking about now and all the good things now that they're doing, because all the bad things that they did that didn't really get punished. And I thought, here's the commissioner. I'm going to put the question in here. And this is what he does so well, being a lawyer. And then I'll have some comments after this.
In your view, is Dan Snyder's behavior and the workplace culture he created and fostered one of the worst and most toxic you've seen in your time as commissioner and your decades of service with the NFL?
I have not seen a workplace in the NFL that is anywhere near what we saw in the context of that period of time for the Washington Commanders.
Okay. What was the worst workplace that you've seen, Commissioner? Then there's this question that I think he handled as well as you could possibly handle.
Do you have the authority to recommend that Dan Snyder be removed as the team owner?
Okay,
you can recommend
the gentlelady's time has
as
expired. Your time has expired. You may answer a question. Should Dan Snyder
I
be
think
removed?
I'm good.
Remove him. Will you remove him?
I don't have the authority to remove him.
Factually, he's correct. Now, if you say, Commissioner, will you or have you recommended a vote to remove Daniel Snyder? He does have the authority to do that. Yes, he can.
To be fair, she did say in that clip, you can recommend he be removed.
Yeah. But then you had somebody say, no, the time's expired, and then he says, I'm good, and then you have somebody following up with that. But if that question stays there and, and kind of hangs there, have you or why haven't you recommended that Daniel Snyder be removed as the owner of the Washington football team? I got to get him not something where he can avoid it. That was just, hey, this is a lawyer. His job is to get out using semantics. Yes, Tom.
It's also ironic referring to her as the gentle lady while she's screaming, are you going to get rid of him on this team? Look, the gentle lady's time has expired.
Yeah. But he did. I mean, that's where he gets paid to do this. That's why when somebody says, what's Goodell do? Why does he get $60 million? Right there. None of the owners had to take the slings and arrows. He's right there. Although they did subpoena Dan Snyder. Good luck with that. This is every year. It's just a different story, but it's every year. He just needs to get to training camp, and then we forget about Dan Snyder. That's all. Get a preseason game. And then when the commissioner said, well, he had to give up the ownership to his wife. Wow, man. Probably wasn't privy to anything going on because his wife's the owner now. Yeah. My Mercedes is in my wife's name. I still drive it. Like, stop. But look, if the other owners don't care, then the commissioner doesn't care. They're his. They employ him. If you want to know what the shield looks like, that's the shield. It's like Jerry West is the logo. Roger Goodell is the shield. I don't know if it'd be the same kind of action shot that Jerry has when he's taking a dribble. Yeah, Paul.
one of the Congress people issued a subpoena for Daniel Snyder. I saw the reaction yesterday. Finally, he's going to have to talk. Finally, he's got to appear. I'll tell you something. I would bet a week's pay that Daniel Snyder does not appear next week or any week in front of Congress. That guy's Madden elusiveness rating has been 99 for 2 decades, and billionaires find a way out of lots of things. Ask Robert Kraft.
But that's what the commissioner does. He's there to, he's got to stand up. He's got to answer these things, deflect. But I would want to pin him down. Well, he's not coming on this show. But I would want to pin him down and say, what would it take? Why have you, will you recommend that Daniel Snyder give up the football team? What would it take? What would it take for Daniel Snyder to lose his team? Commissioner's not coming on this show. Yes, he
had a good day, though.
He did. For what he's supposed to do, he had a good day.
He flawlessly executed his responsibilities.
Yeah. You just sort of put it out there. Hey, I don't have the authority. He has the authority to at least open this up to a conversation with the owners to see if they would like to have a vote. He does have that authority. He can't remove him. He can suggest that he be removed, I'm guessing, to the other owners. But a lot of that deals with semantics. The question you ask me, I'm going to answer, and then I'm not adding anything more to it. I'm not going to expound upon it. It's just, you ask me that, I'm sorry, Congresswoman, I don't have the authority. If you can pin him down a little bit and ask him why, then I think maybe it could get interesting there. Also, here's another thing, and I don't know if this is the case. If I'm Congress, if I'm going to go into battle with something like this, if I'm really passionate and I got to do my job as a Congress person, I got to have somebody who's going to help me. That's where you would bring in a big-name sports journalist and just say, hey, why don't you help us here understand, what should we be going after, in your opinion? Because they have so many topics that, when the baseball players got in front of Congress and they mispronounced Rafael Palmeiro's name, the guy who was, accusing Roger Clemens of using steroids, Mr. McNamee. But what are the questions? Give us 10 questions you think we should be asking. I don't want some 22-year-old doing some prep here and saying, hey, here's some things. Because when you see what the topics are and you realize that they're not as prepared as they should be, are they as prepared as they should be with other topics? I can only go by what I know. And when I saw them in front of Congress talking baseball, steroids, I realized there's some people who did not know what they were talking about. With Roger Goodell, how about you give us 10 questions? Let us know. Get a couple of journalists. Yes, Eden.
Can you do that as a journalist?
Well, you could do it as maybe somebody who is not a journalist any longer. Maybe somebody who's not in covering the story.
Yeah,
and
right.
That's a fair point. Yes, absolutely. But, could you ask a sports person, a sports expert, somebody who doesn't do it anymore? Hey, can you come up with some questions here for us?
You mean kind of like people who used to work for government and then go be consultants?
Yeah. Those kind of people.
They're lobbyists. And then, look, I'm a lobbyist now.
Yeah.
And I used to, right.
But that's what the commissioner goes in there, and I guarantee you he's prepped. Guarantee they did a mock interview with him. Guaranteed. There go, what are they going to ask? What are you going to say? Now, you did have Jim Jordan, congressman, who says, hey, why is Dave Portnoy from Barstool banned? And then Roger Goodell goes, I don't know anything about that.
He didn't see that one coming.
No, he did not. I don't think they said, hey, and you may get a question about Barstool Sports. But the other questions, he knew what to expect. Yeah, Paul.
We should have found a congressman and said, Commissioner, real quick, before we get on to the meat of what we're going to do here, why do you no longer go on the Dan Patrick Show? Just do a plant. Your thoughts?